So today I'm going to introduce you to a new series that I'm going to start on my channel called Urban Legends. I'm sure you have plenty of these in your town. I know there's lots in the town that I am in now, the town I grew up in and where my family is from Southwest Pennsylvania. So we're about 40 miles from Pittsburgh. Story actually does come from the Pittsburgh area. The funny thing is that I was introduced to this urban legend as a child, and I even had an experience with this urban legend, so I will kind of get into that. What I figured I'd start with though is the story that a lot of people seem to know about this urban legend, and then I'm going to tell you what really happened. Unfortunately, the urban legend I'm talking to you about today is something that actually happened and is true, and it's a lot more sad than what people are leading on to be. So today I'm going to talk about the Green Man, or he's also known as Charlie No Face. When I was little, I guess this is kind of really weird, but I had always been told about the Green Man. And the Green Man, from what my grandmother told me, was some guy who was struck multiple times by lightning, and because of that his skin had turned green. She claimed that we could go out to his house and see him. So at the time I was probably only like, I don't know, if I had to guess, like 7 or 8. So before going on this trip and getting all the grandkids in her car, my grandmother explained to us that we were going to go see the Green Man. And the Green Man, to her, she kind of made it seem like he was the boogeyman. She would, in a way, like threaten us, saying that if we weren't going to listen, then she was going to go take me to the Green Man, and the Green Man would keep us, and we'd be driving down the road, and to get us to shut up in the car, she would tell us, like, if we would pass a gas station or like a sewer, she said if you would watch, then you can like see him peeking up underneath the sewer covers, or in the like areas where they used to fill gas in gas stations. So she totally made this guy seem like he was the boogeyman. So she explained all of this, and then she put us in the car and drove us out somewhere in Pittsburgh. I was too young to realize where it was. So we pull up to this house, and it's in the middle of nowhere. We went down like this private drive that I knew we shouldn't have been down. There was a privacy fence. It was probably like 6 or 7 feet high. But in the fence there were these little holes that acted kind of like peepholes. So if you were on the other side of the fence in the yard, you could just come out and look through the holes and see who was out there. So we pull up and we get out of the car, and she said, all right, well, here we are. We're at the Green Man's house. We're going to go, talk to him. As soon as she said that, out of one of the holes came a barrel of a gun. So needless to say, we got the hell out of there because we were obviously being threatened in some sort of way that, we were on private property, and we just got out of there. We didn't stay around to see what else was going to happen. So that's what I had always been told as a kid, in my experience with it. So I'm going to get to what everybody else knows. So Charlie No Face, or the Green Man, has a couple different stories. One of them being that this guy worked for the electric company, and he was out repairing a line somewhere, and he was electrocuted. And because of that, he lost some of his facial features and became green. Another story was that he was struck by lightning, so it caused him to turn green. He used to haunt a tunnel. You've probably heard of the Green Man's Tunnel if you're from this area. So the one story that people have circulated around over the years, I'm just going to say in advance, I'm sorry if I'm looking down a lot. I'm actually looking online just to make sure that I'm not getting any of this information wrong. But they would say that they would see the Green Man, this guy with this green glowing skin, walking up and down the highway, and he would often haunt one of these tunnels that was nearby. So if you drove your car into this tunnel, he would come up and touch your car. And because of that, it would cause either electrical issues in your car or you wouldn't be able to start it. Some people even reported that they would go and park in the tunnel, and whenever they would leave, there would be handprints or, you know, fingerprints all over their car. So that's some of the things that people heard. So I'm going to tell you the real story. So the real story of Green Man or Charlie No Face is that of a man named Raymond Robinson. He was born October 29th, 1910. And what happened was he was little and he was a very curious little boy. He had crawled up onto a bridge that carried, it was like a trolley line, and there were also electrical lines up there. He had seen a bird's nest and he wanted to look through it. As soon as he reached the top, he was electrocuted with 22,000 volts and he plummeted to the ground. Because of that, he was severely disfigured. He ended up losing both of his eyes, his nose, and he also lost one of his arms. Hence the name Charlie No Face. He defied the odds and ended up surviving the accident. There was a boy who had pretty much the same accident and he ended up losing his life. So Charlie No Face, or we're gonna call him Raymond now because now we know his name, actually lived to be 74 years old. So he had stayed with his family. He was obviously blind since he had lost both of his eyes. So for work, what he would do is he would like make belts and wallets, doormats and stuff like that, and then people would come to the house and buy them from him. Most of the time he stayed out of the public eye because he didn't want to be ridiculed. You know how mean people can be. He would walk the roads of Coppell, that's the town that he grew up in, along State Route 351, which was in, I think, Beaver County, Pennsylvania. So he would just walk up and down the road. And unfortunately, because of his bad eyesight, there were some accidents. He had been hit by cars and stuff like that. He also used to travel through a tunnel. So that's where I think the whole tunnel thing comes in. So the reason why they call him the Green Man is because whenever he was shocked, he was so badly shocked that his skin started to take on like a glowing green type thing, and that was due to the infection that didn't properly heal from his wound. The story is really sad. I am glad that he still continued to try to live his life by taking his walks at night. Unfortunately, of course, he was injured because of it, but that didn't stop him. I had even heard that in order to take a picture with him, he would exchange like beer and cigarettes. So he was friendly, you know, as long as you were friendly with him. The last few years, he stopped walking. He retired to a geriatric center and he passed away there in 1985. So yeah, he passed away 2 years before I was born. So this whole thing that my grandmother told me, I have no idea where the hell she pulled that out of. So guys, that's the story of the Green Man, or Charlie No Face, or better recognized as Raymond Robinson. Plan on continuing this type of series on my channel. There are plenty of local urban legends that I could talk to you about. I just thought this one was interesting because it was so close to me. I know a few other people had done this on their channel as well. I had seen that Britty44 had done one of these stories, and as well as Christine from Paranormal TV. So I just kind of wanted to give a little bit more of a background and correct some of the information that might be out there. Because I think it's worth knowing. If there's an urban legend that ends up being true, I think the truth is better to be known. Of course, the story of the urban legend is pretty cool in itself, but to know that the reality of it all is actually more sad, then we all know how that goes. So yes, if you like this type of video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I do plan on doing a lot of these in the future, so keep an eye out for them. Enjoy your day and do something that is paranormal or Halloween related. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.